Hi, everybody. Welcome to Imagine This Woman's International Film Festival. This is a panel discussion with our film creators that are part of this wonderful festival this week. I'll introduce myself. My name is Halima. I am an actor, teaching artist, and a producer. I was really excited to be selected as honorable mention this time last year at Imagine This for a short film that I self-produced and starred in called Sorry. So we've got 30 minutes. We're short on time, but quality, not quantity. So let's get into it. Let's just go around and introduce yourself, your name, your position with your film, and then if you could give all of us the elevator pitch of what your short film is about. Cecilia, would you like to start us off?
I would love to start. Hi, I am Cecilia Bonner, and I am the writer, producer, and then performed in the short Tart Sugar Dip. And it is a closer look at PTSD after sexual assault and what that looks like in healing with a partner.
Thanks, Cecilia.
Thank you.
Kasuba, you're welcome. Kasuba, welcome. Hi. I know it's the techie. There we go. Got it. It happens every time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kasuba, and my film is called There's a Strange Woman. And it's about a woman that is struggling with schizophrenia, but has to find a way to manage it before, it takes control of her life.
Thank you, Kasuba. And Mohana.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mohana Rajkumar, and I was the writer-producer of Me Against the World, which is a collegiate romantic comedy with the sports element basketball about an Indian American tutor and her African American tutee.
Thank you. Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I directed, shot, and edited Wastewater, A Tale of Two Cities, which is a short documentary about wastewater infrastructure in Alabama and some of the inequalities that exist in terms of who has access to quality wastewater infrastructure.
Thank you, Sarah. We do Courtney.
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney. I wrote and produced Healing Grace, and it's just a story about a woman who runs a domestic violence facility, and she's heavily religious, and she runs things. She does things her way, but then when she gets a new client, secrets are being revealed, and so it's a suspenseful drama. It's intended to be a web series, a pilot of a web series. So that's what it is.
Thanks, Courtney. And Diamond.
Yes, my name is Diamond. I'm excited to be aligned with all these amazing women, although I do have a competition show. I created a competition show called Biz Bestie Showdown, and it's a competition show in which women entrepreneurs and their business bestie compete in entrepreneurial challenge to try to secure the bag.
I love that. That was such a good elevator pitch. Secure the bag. That's what we all want to do, right?
Right.
Secure the bag. I have some questions that I wanted to ask each of you. And the first one, and you can kind of jump in where you see fit. Why did you decide to make your film? Why tell this story? Sarah, go for it.
I would say I'll jump in terms of like creating an. Well, so for me, I'm obsessed with competition shows, and I'm an entrepreneur as a creative. And so I wanted to just create my real life experience. Like I hang out with entrepreneurs. It's very challenging to be a creative and to be an entrepreneur, to try to grow your business, to try to like really make money off of your creativity. And so I wanted to just bring to life in a fun way our experiences.
Anyone else want to share?
So mine is like a stepping stone. It's a short that is like doing double duty. It's both going out to festivals, but it's also a proof of concept because we're trying to make a feature of the same story. So it's 12 minutes, and right now it seems like it's doing its job because everyone's like, I want more. And I'm like, great. So show me the money to make the rest of it. Right. So we've had a really great year at festivals like this one. So
I agree, Mohana. Make more. When I finished watching, I thought, oh, this should be on Netflix right now. I'd be so ready with my popcorn and my cozy blanket. So yes, absolutely. Anyone else want to share? Why tell this story? Why was it important to you? Cecilia, go ahead.
Yes, for myself, this is a very personal story because I wrote it, and it was written for a younger version of myself, but also for female friends that I know who also live with PTSD. And it was just really to challenge the narrative and question whether or not we could tell this story in a way that would not be re-traumatizing or, sensationalizing the subject matter, but a real close, gentle look at what it is actually like to live after something like this happens. So.
I love that you use the word gentle and to not sensationalize things. I feel like the last couple of days there's been all of this news with, really scary psychological thrillers also on Netflix. And I think that not sensationalizing things and letting people see things through an empathetic nature is so important. I felt like you did that so well in your short. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else want to share on why you're telling the story?
Yeah, I'll go. So my film is about mental health and schizophrenia. And that's something that people in my family have struggled with. And I've seen a lot of misunderstanding about the condition. I've seen wrong diagnosis for the condition, stigma, and basically just like the system failing people with mental illness. And so it was just really important for me to write something where, somebody is struggling with it, but it's diagnosed and it's something that can be managed, and it's not something that is like, people write it off as like, oh, you're crazy, or, and it's something that like you don't really have control over in terms of like whether you get it or not. There's a lot of genetics that's involved with it. So I just wanted to provide like some sort of understanding and for people to see from the perspective of somebody who is actually struggling with it and is like making active steps to manage it. Like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's so important because especially for myself, speaking as a Black woman, I feel like in our community, mental illness is often something that we're taught to not talk about. And so if you have friends or family members or you yourself are going through it, often it feels really isolating because we don't see ourselves portrayed in that manner as getting help and where to find help. So again, kudos to you to putting this out in the world. We need all of those types of stories. Switching gears just a little bit. I would love to know, because this is part of filmmaking, we come up with these ideas and it's like, yes, I want to do this. But then you're like, oh, I can't do this for free. Or maybe you did. How did you raise the money? How did you fund this? Sarah, do you want to start?
Yeah, so my film I actually made as part of a fellowship. It's called Southern Exposure, and it's put on by the Alabama Rivers Alliance. So they bring in basically documentary filmmakers from all over the country to make environmental documentaries about Alabama. So it was like there was an application process and all of that. But once I had the fellowship, it was a really supportive organization that, yes, I mean, it still made for very little money, but I had kind of the support and community in place to connect me with the people I needed to be connected with to make this film.
Sure. Thank you.
So somebody does get those fellowships. Congratulations, Sarah. I have like a folder in my inbox, which is just like no's. Thank you, but no.
I actually didn't get it and then applied the next year and got it. So
shout out.
Did you get feedback or like what did you change the second year?
Yeah, no, I should have I think just timing, and there was COVID happening and a bunch of factors in play. So no, I can't prescribe what I did right the second time, but.
Well, I crowdfunded for mine. And I have to say I had crowdfunded 10 years ago, and a TV pilot that I was just kind of dabbling in. And, I put it up a couple times. Of course, I got like $200, and then that campaign never happened. It kind of fell apart. So 10 years later, the last 2 weeks, I literally was messaging every single person I'd ever met and was like, hey, did you know I'm making this movie? And we hit our goal. And now I'm making a second short, and I'm doing the same thing. And I was thinking it was going to be easier because I had about 110 people the first time around. I thought, oh, these guys have like been to festivals. Some of them are watching right now. Like, this is great. And no, it's still as hard as the first time.
I would just say it's probably even harder. Sorry, just to jump in, because for my first short, I did crowdfunding for it. But for this one, I kind of decided against it because it's like, the same people really. And so it's like, how many times can you go back and ask them? So I found it like very difficult to do crowdfunding for my second one. But yeah, I really just saved for mine, and also worked with a DP that I had met in film school that, did it for free. And like, I guess people that you've met and worked with on set that did like a lot of stuff for like discounted like rates and things like that is how I pretty much got over the hump this time. But it was pretty much an investment that like my savings really, especially for like the gear and stuff.
I'll say like I self-funded, but I set an intention the year before to like, this is what I wanted to do. So all the gigs that I took, I just stacked my money, and I felt like the money would come back to me. And because I always heard that money was cyclical. So I invested into it, and literally the money did come back the same year. So I think it was like a faith thing. I feel like every opportunity brings another opportunity. So I was like, let me just pay for this myself.
And you have to invest in yourself,
Right. Because I feel like as independent people, as creators, like this is our resume essentially for what we want to do and what we want to be hired for. And that was my intention.
Go ahead, Courtney. I feel like you're reaching for a button.
Yeah, I was reaching for my mute. So with this film in particular, I am a Chapman University graduate. So at the time, they funded the film, and my budget was like $5,000. And I tried my best to stay within that budget. But I am thinking about funding my next one, and I've been researching, should I do crowdfunding or should I just self-fund it? I do have a little bit of a savings, so I was trying to figure out what's the best way to go. So it's very good to hear your answers, because I think that's very helpful in my decision making now. So thank you all.
It's amazing how quickly, when you self-fund, it can get out of control. I know for my project last year, the director said, "Oh, get me $5,000 and we'll make this." And I got 5,000. She's like, "But if you want a piece of art, get me 10." And by the end of it, we spent 20. And what I didn't realize was that didn't account for any post-production. So it goes so quickly. And I think that especially I consider myself a beginning filmmaker, learning how to budget and getting a great unit production manager can save your life. Any other thoughts on crowdfunding or financing?
I totally get that. I had the same thing happen. It's like, oh, here's the budget. And it's like, oh, and now post. Well, and I think the problem was they had just under budgeted post. And then suddenly it was like, I don't think these are like malintentioned people, but it was like, we want to give this a great color and like glossy finish. So that's going to cost, this. Yes. Whereas if you get basic color and finish, that's going to cost this. You know what I mean? So yeah. Suddenly it's like, in for a penny, in for a pound. Like, I'm already all the way in, and now I need to reach deeper. That's something I think it's good to be aware of, because they sent me a budget quote. I had to use a production company because I like ground zero filmmaking, and I had people vet the budget, and they said, oh, look at music, look at sound, look at this, look at that, and still had that same problem you had, Halima. So I think it's good to know it's always going to cost more than you think it's going to cost. But at the same time, I think probably all of us would agree that like 10 years ago, if I had pushed harder on that pilot, there's no going back, there's only going forward, right? But at the time that you make something, it's like so worth it. So, whatever it takes, and, like keep your lights on, keep food on the table, but make the sacrifice, because I don't think you'll regret it.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think that's like real true, Mohana. And I just want to say I'm a spreadsheet queen. So I feel like I had to learn very early on, like how to budget $1,000. So when I was trying to budget 10,000 and 20,000 for my stuff, like I knew how to do it. And I feel like if we can learn how to budget our like $1,000, we will be excellent at this and excellent at overseeing people who do it for us.
I have another question. I'm interested. I know some of you have some pretty hard-hitting themes that you're working with. Was there any story during the creation process that sticks out, that was funny, unexpected, surprising? Anything that you could share with people that sometimes we don't think about that might happen?
Our first day of shooting was when the election results came out, and we were shooting in Brooklyn. So there were parades, there were, shouting. The city went wild.
It sure did.
Of course, so did we. We're like, oh my God. So we actually had to push our shoot we didn't really shoot for the morning. We were like, everybody just relax, enjoy. Let's watch the parade, go out and cheer. And so that was just an unexpected. We all have the videos. We all know where we were on that day, a memory that we share.
That's how community is built.
We shot in Georgia. It was end of July, and I thought we had everything planned. And then in our location, the air went out, and so we ended up having to buy 10 fans. So it's just it seems like having fans on backup is a nice thing, because I was like, oh, we did everything we could do, and then the air went out. So not funny.
You couldn't tell. Everybody looked very glamorous.
Thank you. My girls were hot and mad at me, but we made it through the day.
I'll say, go ahead, Sarah.
Mine's quick, so I sat on a nest of fire ants while climbing down to a river to get a shot.
All for the art, right, Sarah? All for the art.
Were you okay? That sounds terrible.
It looked really bad, but it felt okay after a couple days. And the scars are mostly gone now.
But the internal scars. So for my second shoot, we show up for the location day before. Everybody's there, art's there, cameras are there, I'm there. I wanted to direct this one. And they're like, no, we can't give you the venue for 12 hours. That's not going to happen. And so, we're negotiating. And then I just realized this isn't okay. Well, so everybody hopped in their cars. We needed a taco shop. The second one is about an Indian couple ordering tacos for the first time. And so we just all drove around Nashville until we found a taco shop that was free the next day. And luckily we found this female-owned business where they had just bought the shop, and the shop looked a shambles, and so they let us do whatever we wanted.
That's amazing. I feel like the theme of this is perseverance. Through cheers, through fire ants, through heat, through no taco shops. I know that we are probably getting a little close on time, but I have two questions just to finish out. One, tell us what you have coming up next. And I'm sure there are people out there that want to continue to follow you through your journey. So tell us what you've got coming up next and how to stay in touch with you if you can.
I'm actually working on a few more pilots, and I want to be able to put those out and share those with the world. And so to keep up with that, you can follow me at The Real Diamond. So it's at The Real Diamond with the E at the end.
Thank you.
I just wrote another short that I'm trying to get the money for, and hopefully can do that sometime next year. And you can find me on my website is kasubamukuka.com, or my Instagram at goforkasuba.
Thank you. Courtney.
So I'm working on a feature right now. It's about a little girl it's a coming of age story, and it's about like, how do you find out about like adult things, when you're finding out these things and you hit that threshold from I'm a little kid and into, okay, these are real adult issues. So that's what it's about. And I'm trying to get the funding for it. It's written. I'm just trying to see if I can get it out there and see if someone will help me make it. You can follow me on Instagram at Courtney J Gee. So pretty much my name, Courtney, but insert the J in the middle. Gee at yeah, that's it on Instagram. Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks, Courtney. Go for it.
I am working on a pilot version of Tart Sugar Dip, and then also a full-length play is kind of my next project. And both are sort of narratives that give tools for healing within the narrative itself. And so you can follow me at ceciliabonner.com, or for Tart Sugar Dip stuff, poptartsugardip.com.
And lastly, Sarah and Mohana, anything to share, to tease us with?
So I actually produced a narrative feature film that's just now making its festival rounds. So that's what I'm quite focused on right now. It's called Provo, and you can check it out on Instagram at Provo Film. And then my Instagram is 2 the number B the letter, and then my last name Frank with an E at the end. So
clever. Love it.
Wow, that's awesome. So I am trying to get this feature made, and if I have to make 10 shorts to get there, I guess I will, but I was hoping we'd be a little bit closer to feature time. So on Instagram, I'm Moha Doha Prods. So Moha Doha is my production company. And Cecilia, I just want to ask, you said .com for both of those, or do you have an Instagram,
I do have an Instagram. It's my personal Instagram. So that would be at Celia, CELIA _Bonner, BONNER. Yeah. Thank you again.
And I want to also just give you all the floor. Are there questions that you have for each other as we wrap up? Anything that you want to ask this other powerful filmmakers that are in your panel today?
I'm following everybody. So I'll be seeing you on Instagram.
Yeah, I was just gonna say same thing. I'll be following you guys. If I hit you up in the DMs, don't be a stranger. Pretend like you know me.
Absolutely.
All right. If there is nothing else, again, my name is Halima. I want to thank all of our filmmakers today for being a part of our panel chat. To future filmmakers that are watching, especially those of you that are female identifying, thank you. Keep going. Your story is important. Your voice is needed. Enjoy the rest of the festival, and we will see you soon.